McKinnon Legal Podcast, your guide to brighter paths beyond challenging marriages. Here's your host, Christina McKinnon.
Good afternoon and happy Friday, everyone. I'm your host, attorney Christina McKinnon, South Florida's marital exit strategist. I am here with my very good friend and colleague, Courtney Silverman. I've known this woman for about 8.5 years, and she is a titan in the real estate community, South Florida real estate community here. I'm going to give her about 2 minutes to give a little bit of who she is, what she does, and then I'm going to jump in with some pointed questions so that Courtney can tell you how she interfaces with family law firms here in the South Florida community and real estate community.
Courtney? Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate it. My name is Courtney Silverman. I'm a residential realtor with the Kai's Company. I moved to Florida in 2000 and purchased a home, and I thought I could have a better experience. So when I began pursuing my real estate career, I applied myself to make sure that I am fully educated in all realms of the process so I can give a good experience to my customers. That's it.
Okay. All right. Courtney, you and I have worked together on, a couple of cases here and there. Whenever I have a high net worth client, I certainly think of you. Tell me, what is you get where people are divorcing? What's the typical difference in terms of the transactions, and what's the most common challenges that you help the couples navigate?
Okay, great. Well, I think what's important to do is I have a process that I follow with all my customers. There's a little bit of feedback here. There's a process that I follow with all my customers. And then there's the additional layer of dealing with the court. So, for example, much of the process is the same. I meet with parties separately, typically, so that I can understand where they're coming from and what their goals are. And besides preparing in advance of the meeting, I also ask a series of questions, and I utilize my system. And do you want me to review some of the questions I ask?
Sure, that'll be great. That's what my next question was. What are some of those factors, and what is a part of your system in particular?
Okay, got it. So typically I want to know who's living in the house. Are there any liens on the property? Who is the mortgage holder? Who's on the title? Is the mortgage in default? How will the access to the property be? I do a assessment of the property, a walkthrough in my initial meeting to determine is staging or repair needed. And I try to do everything we can to maximize the proceeds, but not cause any additional stress or things for people to fight over. And I try to determine what the next steps are for each party. So the difference, of course, with divorce is the court's involved. And it's important for me to understand what the court order is. And sometimes the order contains the price and terms of disposing of the real estate property. It also depends on where we are in the timeline of the case. Is there a restraining order? Who will be paying to maintain the property? And who, before closing, is going to be the person responsible for clearing out all of the personal property?
All right. Have you ever had a situation where there was a court order, and this is in the situation where the parties are going through a divorce, but there's a court order for the parties to sell, and one of the parties wouldn't sign the listing agreement? And how did you deal with that issue?
Well, it depends on who's in the house, and is that going to be obstructing? Sometimes it goes back to court, and sometimes people are in contempt of court and don't follow the rules. Sometimes they do. It just depends.
Okay. Have you yourself had to testify in court before?
I have. That was fun. That was my first divorce case when I realized there's way more than I need to know to serve my customers better.
Okay. All right. Very well. And how do you work with family law attorneys and financial advisors, even, or mortgage brokers to ensure a smooth transaction?
Well, we're all part of the same team
Mhm.
in trying to get things resolved. So I just work as a team player and make sure that people understand what my needs are and what I need to on the real estate end. I work all the time with appraisers, with mortgage brokers, obviously with the family law attorney as well.
Right.
And many times it's important to get a mental health provider in.
Why is that?
Well, it's quite stressful going through a divorce. And also, I think that many times I find that people want to tell their story. And it's important to not burden the family law attorney with a lot of drama and extra billable hours necessarily, and to talk to a mental health provider to make things smoother.
Okay. And you deal with them, with people who are, I guess having mental health issues and stress issues that I guess want to confide in you. And those are some of the things that you advise them.
Yes, I do recommend that. I'm always happy to listen, to understand, and to assist in directing on where to go if people want my advice. But
Okay.
as far as the real estate matters, I really prefer to direct and work in that area. Sometimes it's important that people want to tell their story to everybody, and it's,
I
better
hear
to
you.
stick on task.
What is the most common mistake that you see, particularly with divorcing couples, and how can they avoid it when it comes to real estate?
Well, I think it's important to be transparent with the realtor and tell the truth as to what's going on because we are here to help. I personally am not tied to the outcome of what is best for the family going through the divorce. For example, if somebody wants to stay in the house, I want to make sure that they can afford it and they, can maintain a home and insure the home. And if they can, then they should stay in the home and let's not sell it. Um, but if I'm up for what's best for the family and doing my job.
Okay. And how important is timing when it comes to selling a property or dividing that property during a divorce? So, is there a time frame where the court may say it must be sold within 6 months or a year, and it's just not the right time? Is it feasible or is it even advisable that we go back and get an amended order? Or what do you do? Have you encountered that situation?
Um, that's interesting. If we need to amend it, I mean, there's always fair market value, and there's always, selling your home might not be right, but it might be the best time to buy or to make a change. It completely depends on the market conditions.
Okay. And then what about high net worth divorces, which, I sort of deal with you on? How are those different from, the working class or middle class divorces that you've encountered in terms of selling real estate or people with multiple properties?
I would say that it's pretty similar as far as the actual process of selling the home, if it's high net worth or not. Um, there's a lot of feelings sometimes with the home
Hmm.
that it's not just real property, and other times it's not. Some couples I find try to hurt the other one emotionally, and that it doesn't matter. I think price wise, my
Okay.
solutions are the same nonetheless.
Okay. And if you have parties that, well, one party wants to keep the house and buy the other out, or you have a court order that says they must refinance and buy the other party out by a certain date, and you find that that is not feasible, How do you handle those types of situations?
Well, I think communication is important for all
Mhm.
parties to know. I mean, typically, the real estate market changes every couple of weeks. Currently,
Hmm.
it takes about 45 days to sell a property, um, unless if it's over $1 million, it takes a little longer. So it depends on where we are in the market and how fast things can get done,
Okay.
really.
So you just mentioned that the real estate market changes every couple of weeks. How
It's
so?
amazing. It really does. Well, new inventory comes on the market.
Mhm.
Inventory comes off. There's all kinds of economic factors and other things that come into play with it. But as far as looking at prices, um, every 2 weeks, it's funny. It's just consistent. It can
Oh,
change.
interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And Courtney, can you give our listeners one top piece of advice? If they're going through a divorce and there's at least a single property or even multiple properties, including investment properties involved, what would be your top piece of advice for those people dealing with those real estate situations?
I know it's difficult, but keep paying your bills. If you're making mortgage payments, keep paying them. Keep your credit up, so you have more doors open to you as to your next path rather than doors shut.
Okay.
You
All
have
right.
more choices.
And do you or your company, does it work with any um, mortgage brokers in particular? Who do you recommend for somebody who needs to buy or refinance?
Okay. There's many choices out there, and depending on what the situation is and the parties, I can make recommendations of who is best. There are some that are trained in divorce and some that are not, but just a good mortgage person is key.
Okay. And then how do you feel or how do you see your role as a real estate professional evolving in this family law space? So I'm sure you deal with a lot of people that are not going through divorce, but is this a constant stream or another stream of income for you, and you have multiple streams of real estate leads coming your way, and how is this broadening for you?
Okay. Well, I mean, initially, why do people decide to sell? Divorce is one of them. Sometimes it's death. Sometimes it's a growing family, and sometimes it's downsizing. So each one actually has their own particular needs, and understanding of their issues to provide success and a smooth process in selling property.
Okay. And Courtney, I know you're with the Kai's company. Can you tell me a little bit or tell our listeners a little bit of, how to find you and how to get in contact with you if they have further questions?
Yes, of course. If you Google Courtney Silverman Realtor, I'll pop up. You'll see me at my company website, CourtneySilverman.com. I also have a YouTube station or channel at Courtney Realtor, and that is the same for Twitter and for Instagram, and on Facebook, Nicest Homes in Broward County. But most
Nicest
of
homes in Broward County.
Yes,
All
yes.
righty. Love it. Love it. Are you on TikTok, Courtney?
No, I am not. I just don't know that that's going to be around.
Yes.
So I
Same
didn't want to start
here.
investing in
Waiting
it.
until January.
No, I'm like right now, I'm having a lot of fun with my YouTube station. It's really great.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Well, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, old friend. I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I thank you for being our guest, and we'll have you on again so that we can talk about some of the things that are going on with your business and in your life in the next 6 months or so.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'm always available for to answer any questions people have. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks again to Courtney Silverman. I'm Christina McKinnon of McKinnon Legal, your marriage exit strategists. So we're signing off today, Friday, October 11th. We pray for the souls and the spirit and continued health of those who were affected by the storm in this past week. We're here in South Florida. We didn't get much other than wind, but we implore all of our listeners and certainly us as professionals, whatever we can do to help out in the recovery effort, in the rebuilding effort in the state of Florida. So thank you for your time and have a blessed weekend, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you for joining us on the McKinnon Legal Podcast. Remember, there's always a path to a brighter, happier future. Stay tuned for more positive insights on troubled relationships and legal solutions. For more information, please visit mckinnon-legal.com. That's MCKINNON-legal.com or call 877-920-1614.